Hola Buenas! Today we will be looking at the top picks for the best hiking destinations in the world. There is no denying that I absolutely love walking and going on adventures, and while embarking on global adventures may not be feasible for me at the moment, I can always inspire you to envision and explore these incredible destinations for yourself. Without any further ado, let's get started. Empecemos. Nepal, Everest Base Camp Trek. This is an obvious one and quite frankly almost a cliche by this point, but it's so well known for a reason. I mean, look at these views. It looks like something straight out of a video game. Everest is part of the Himalayan mountains and is the tallest mountain peak on Earth, standing at 8,848.86 meters above sea level. The highest point I have ever been to is Mount Monserrate in Bogota in Colombia. I remember looking back, I couldn't breathe and I just stood there with my hands on my knees for a few minutes panting for air. That was only 3,152 meters. So my brain can only fathom an altitude of almost 3 times as much. What's the highest point you've ever been to? How did you cope with it? Let me know in the comments below. Honestly, if I was to do something like that again, I'd need professional training first. So, Everest Base Camp Trek ranges from around 2,800 meters at Lukla, which is the starting point, to 5,364 meters more or less. This trek isn't for the faint-hearted and can typically take 12 to 14 days to complete with good preparation, but the views would be breathtaking. Peru, Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. This trail is actually part of the Andes Mountains, which is the same mountain as the one in Bogota in Colombia. Impressively, this mountain goes through 7 countries. They are Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina. Machu Picchu is at an elevation of 2,430 meters above sea level, so I'd actually be able to breathe there, maybe. The temple was built with a construction technique called ashlar masonry, where stones are cut precisely and fit tightly together without the use of cement. It was built by the Inca civilization around the mid-15th century, ruled by Emperor Pachacuti at the time, and served as a royal estate for the Inca emperor. So basically, to make a comparison, it's like the Queen of England when she used to visit Balmoral Castle in Scotland. God rest her soul. This trail from Aguascalientes to Machu Picchu can take around 2 hours to complete, so a bit more manageable than our Everest Base Camp trek. USA, Grand Canyon Bright Angel Trail. Okay, we are going for a less altitude intensive option for our next entry. Technically, there is still an altitude, but it's into the canyon, so the hard part really is just coming back up. The Grand Canyon, as the name implies, stretches a jaw-dropping 446 kilometers and at its deepest point is 1,857 meters deep from the rim of the canyon. But interestingly enough, it's still 660 meters above sea level at its deepest point. The cause of the canyon is due to the Colorado River, which has eroded the walls of the canyon over millions of years. All in all, this trail is 15.3 kilometers and would take around 6 hours to Plateau Point and back. It is common, however, for hikers to choose to break up the hike into 2 days, camping at Indian Garden Campground or Bright Angel Campground at the bottom of the canyon. Going to the campground can take between 4 to 6 hours and the return journey can take 6 to 10 hours. The reason for the increased time is due to being fatigued from the previous day. Isle of Skye, Scotland, Trotternish Ridge. Let's mix it up now and pick a location a little closer to home. The Isle of Skye is already known for its impressive vistas, but really you have to see it to believe it. Taking ourselves away from Trotternish Ridge for a moment now, in the east coast of Isle of Skye rests Portree, which is the largest island in this region. It is so beautiful with its multicolored houses and small bay area. It might be worth checking this area out while you are here. Now back to Trotternish Ridge, which is north of Portree by a few miles. It goes on for just over 30 kilometers. The most photographed area of the Trotternish Ridge is the Old Man of Storr, which are these impressive rock formations protruding out of the ground in this breathtaking landscape. Some people also come here to see the wildlife, such as all the kinds of birds, red deer, mountain hares, otters, seals, and even highland cattle, with their stylish emo fringes and feeling of utter depression. Sorry, I love a good pun. Exploring the Trotternish Ridge can take up to a day to explore, on average taking 8 to 12 hours or more to complete. That being said, you can actually camp here, or if you want some home comforts, there are some hotels in the village of Portree. Tasmania, Australia, overland track. And finally, at number 5, we are going to the other side of the world, to the island of Tasmania. It begins in Ronnie Creek near Cradle Mountain and ends at Lake St. Clair, covering a distance of around 65 kilometers. At that kind of distance, you will without a doubt require several days to see the whole thing. This is a very popular location to hike, and therefore a permit is needed before undertaking it. In addition, it's not for the faint-hearted, but it is worth it to see Cradle Mountain, Barn Bluff, and Mount Ossap, which is the highest peak in Tasmania at 1,617 meters. It is open from October to May, so plan your journey accordingly. Interestingly, you can get a guided tour with this experience if you do not want to tackle it alone. This can include accommodation and food. And I don't think we can mention a hike in Australia without mentioning the wildlife you could see here, such as wombats, wallabies, paddy melons, and Tasmanian devils, to name just a few. It's advised to take between 6 to 7 days to complete this hike if you intend to see it all. Just talking about these amazing places makes me want to go exploring. That is all we have time for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if you have been fortunate enough to visit any of these locations. Are there any notable locations that I've missed out on this list and deserve a mention? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this kind of content, let me know. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.